Amendment, Senator Harding.
Thank you, Madam President. My understanding, if I understood the summary correctly, Madam President, was that this was previously an outright ban. Could the proponent please tell me what the rationale or what the thought process would be about how we would have banned leaf blowers? Would we have, would they be subject to collection if someone still had those? How would that process be undertaken through you, Madam President?
Thank you. Senator Lopes.
Thank you, Madam President. We're going back to the original version of the bill from some months ago. My understanding, there was never a collection intended. Not that it matters, this is no longer in language, but there was, the ban would just be a ban on future sales of gas-powered lawn equipment specified. I'm not even sure which lawn equipment it was, but that was all removed from the bill.
Thank you. Senator Harding.
Thank you, Madam President. And I do understand, I know the amendment's on the board, but I don't believe it's been adopted yet. So this is still, through you, Madam President, the underlying bill.
On the amendment, sir. Yes, we are.
Right. So through you, Madam President, then in regards to the underlying bill, there wouldn't have been a collection. What would the enforcement aspect of this look like? Would DEEP or other entities be going through hardware stores to see if they would be selling, have the audacity to sell a gas-powered leaf blower through you, Madam President?
Thank you, Senator Lopes.
Thank you, Madam President. No, and as I said before, that is a previous iteration of the bill that's not currently before us. So I don't feel fully confident answering that question at this point. But no, I don't believe any of those prospective measures by a state agency was ever in the bill.
Thank you, Senator Harding.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you for the answer. And through you, Madam President, I understand that there is now an amendment that we're now debating, but it's still the underlying bill, and it did pass out of committee. So I would have thought, and there would have been some discussion, whether it be through public hearing or the like, about how this would have been enforced, because if this would have been a ban, so in order for a ban to be enacted, there has to be some level of enforcement, I would assume, through you, Madam President.
Thank you, Senator Lopes.
Thank you, Madam President. No, the good minority leader is mistaken. The ban never passed out of committee. The bill that came out of committee was, in essence, this amendment that we're negotiating now. The only reason we're doing an amendment now is there's a technical change.
Thank you, Senator Harding.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you for the clarification. So through you, Madam President, if I understand correctly, the bill that was drafted, though, initially was an outright ban. Is that correct, through you, Madam President?
Senator Lopes.
Thank you, Madam President. The initial ban, a bill that was heard in committee, did have a ban involved.
Thank you. Senator Harding.
Thank you, Madam President. Well, I am certainly happy that the ban did not move forward out of committee and is not before us here. I do question the logic in terms of the proposal just being drafted in general and the committee having a public hearing on a draft of a bill that was an outright ban that did receive public hearing testimony on it. Again, when we talk about priorities, I believe we should be environmentally conscious. That's all a positive thing. But, considering all the things that we're looking to tackle in this legislative session, I think I spoke about it before on one of the bills that involved decreasing penalties on individuals that commit crimes at certain ages and some of the most violent crimes. And I had mentioned that it was puzzling to me how you start out with thousands of bills. This legislative session proposed by many different legislators across the aisle, and it gets boiled down to about 10%, I think, on average, get passed. So you start out with about 3,000, that roughly means 300 or so actually get across the finish line. And so you're talking about your priorities of priorities when it comes to a vote. Right here in this great chamber. And I really question a priority for the state of Connecticut to be banning gas-powered or non-electric leaf blowers. The logic doesn't strike me. I understand about being environmentally conscious, but we have issues like DCF that we're looking to tackle, the homeschooling bill we're going to be doing later today. We have issues about public safety in general. and safety in our streets and supporting our law enforcement. We have issues about the third highest tax rates in the country, the second highest electric rates in the country, the third highest property taxes in the country. I have constituents calling me up, and I think calling all of our senators up, talking about how they have to move out of the state, a state that they have loved living in their entire lives, have raised their family in, are now seeing their grandchildren being raised in. And they're talking about leaving this state because they just can't afford to live here. And we put a bill forward and put it as a priority, essentially, to ban gas-powered leaf blowers. It's just, maybe I'm missing something. And so, with that said, Madam President, I'm glad that it's no longer a ban. I understand, as the good chair had mentioned, this is now a program to help loan individuals money to convert from gas-powered vehicles, or excuse me, not vehicles, gas-powered leaf blowers to, Freudian slip, to battery-powered or electric-powered. Could the opponent tell me how we would fund this through the Green Bank, how much money this is going to cost, the numbers through you, Madam President?
Thank you, Senator Lopes.
Thank you, Madam President. And I do want to slightly go back to the minority leader, my good friend's comments about, affordability and why we do prioritize some of the things we do. As he full well knows, I'm one of the few people in this body who's a small business owner who actually does physical work. I mow lawns, I do physical things, I build decks, and in my mind, like, the needs of the small business owner, guys like me, are always paramount in my mind. But I'm always willing in our process to have a hearing and listen to ideas. And, I was skeptical about the ban at first, but I heard it. And we listened to it. We went through the process after hearing from professional after professional. I came to the understanding that at this point, we're not really there yet, which is why I want to do an incentivized approach to having people use more environmentally friendly equipment. Just for reference, I mowed 3 lawns yesterday on our one day off. 1 lawn with the riding gas tractor, and 2 lawns with electric push mowers. Each one was perfect for the job that it had. And that's what we're trying to show people in the state, that you can go to environmentally conscious equipment, and it is better than gas-powered equipment on certain occasions, which is why I don't want to pursue a ban, but I want to pursue an incentivized situation where we can help people understand that some of these machines are better than the machines they've been working with before, but move them into it gradually. Now, in terms of your question about funding, the Green Bank, this is a loan program, so the Green Bank will establish a loan program. And people will apply, and the loan processing will pay for itself as it goes forward. There is no cost to the state or taxpayers whatsoever in this bill.
Thank you, Senator Harding.
Thank you, Madam President, and I appreciate the clarification on some of my comments and a response from the chair. One thing I did note through you, Madam President, was the good chair had mentioned that the ban it's not the right time right now. I guess is this program the beginning of the ban? Is that the intention of this, that we would then create this loan program and then eventually move when this loan program is set up to be able to enact a ban through you, Madam President?
Thank you, Senator Lopes.
Thank you, Madam President. No, in fact, the incentivization is the opposite of a ban. It is putting the will and the desire of the individual residents of the state to do what they wish to do and incentivize them to do something, but not ban them from doing anything.
Thank you, Senator Harding.
Thank you, Madam President. And so I understand that incentivizing is certainly not a ban. I totally understand that aspect, but I'm just trying to parse through this. The good chair did say that the ban it's not the time right now. So that's insinuating that there is going to come a time, I'm assuming in the near future, that there will be a ban. I'm just trying to understand, what the chair's perspective is when that time may be, through you, Madam President.
Thank you, Senator Lopes.
Thank you, Madam President. No, I see it quite differently. As we move from horse and buggies to automobiles, there was no ban on horse and buggies. but it naturally progressed in that direction. And that's where I see we are now. As we incentivize the use of environmentally conscious equipment, people will naturally move in that direction as their own free will without a ban from the state. I don't see that in the future.
Thank you, Senator Harding.
Thank you, Madam President. So am I getting the commitment here on the Senate floor that in future years the proponent would not be supporting a ban through you, Madam President?
Thank you, Senator Lopes.
Thank you, Madam President. My good friend's trying to get a commitment from a politician. It's a tough one. No, actually, no idea where we're going to move into the future, to be honest with you, as I always am. We will always hear any idea, any possibility as we go forward, and we will move forward with the best possible decision for the state of Connecticut.
Thank you, Senator Harding.
Thank you, Madam President. So if I'm understanding the good chair correctly, despite this passage, this is not in lieu of a future ban, that it is still very possible and on the table that the proponent would seek to ban or support the ban of gas-powered leaf blowers in a future legislative session. Through you, Madam President.
Thank you, Senator Lopes.
Thank you, Madam President. No, I actually go into this with eyes wide open. I don't have a preference one way or the other. I do know many municipalities currently have already banned gas-powered leaf blowers, and I imagine quite a few more will in the future. I'm actually kind of comfortable right now having municipalities make their own decisions as they move forward. And so I think this is a good time to sit back and wait and see the direction of how the winds blow, and then make decisions in the future.
Thank you, Senator Harding.
Thank you, Madam President. I appreciate that. I mean, so I would like a commitment, but I understand why the good chair is not able to do that. So, with that said, I think that, this is, in my opinion now, very much the first step towards a ban. And I think it would allow the proponents that would like to see a ban an opportunity to point to this loan program as a reason why a ban would be necessary. Or that it could be implemented because this loan program has been set up to allow individuals to be lent money to purchase electric leaf blowers and be able to ban them statewide. I think what at its crux, though, we're missing is the fact that this is a loan program, which means our consumers, our constituents, will have to pay this money back to the state of Connecticut. Nevertheless, I will summarize, if I may, Madam President, after I assume we're going to have to adopt this technical amendment first, and then I would be happy to summarize if that would work better through you, Madam President.
Thank you, Senator Lopes.
Thank you, Madam President. I believe the amendment should be done by roll.
All right. Are you requesting a roll call vote, sir? Very good. All right. Will you remark further on the amendment, Senator Harding?
Through you, Madam. Yes, thank you, Madam President. So through you, the bill has already been JFS'd out of committee, not being a ban, as you mentioned. And so what exactly is this then technical change that's the amendment?
Thank you, Senator Lopes.
Thank you, Madam President. The Green Bank, who would be doing the loan program, not the state, simply set up a situation where they would do the program for 3 years, and if there was no interest, they would then be able to drop the program. If there was interest, obviously, they would continue the program. That was the sole change.
Thank you, Senator Harding.
Thank you, Madam President. So the only change in this amendment that you're asking for a roll call vote on through you, Madam President, is just simply allowing the Green Bank to end the program after 3 years if no one is interested. Through you.
Thank you, Senator Lopes.
Thank you, Madam President. That is correct.
Thank you, Senator Harding.
Okay. Well, again, I don't support the underlying bill, and I'll get to that in my summary after the amendment is adopted through you, Madam President. But in terms of the change that simply just allows the Green Bank to end the program after 3 years, that certainly makes logical sense, just the amendment itself from the bill it's amending. So with that, I would support the amendment.
Thank you, Senator Lopes.
Madam President, I believe we could change that to a roll call, a voice vote.
Very good. We will have a voice vote on the amendment. Will you remark further on the amendment? If not, let me try your minds. All in favor of the amendment, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The amendment is adopted. Will you remark on the bill as amended? Senator Harding.
Thank you, Madam President. I generally, I think I made my comments earlier about my thought process on this. I do understand the environmental aspect of electric leaf blowers as opposed to gas powered, and I think we all should be environmentally conscious. I think on its face, I understand why this is simply just an incentivization program. But like we found out in some of the discussions between myself and the chair, I think this is very much a first step towards a gas-powered leaf blower ban. And some might say, well, what's the difference? What's the big deal? Well, I mean, I just went over the iterations of how expensive this state is in comparison to other states across this country. And I think that, while there's certainly environmental aspects as to why you want to incentivize electric as opposed to gas when it comes down to landscaping equipment, it ultimately costs more money in the end. And it's going to cost more money for that middle-class family, a husband or wife that wants to work on their yard as opposed to paying someone to work on the yard because it's just too expensive, so they do it themselves. It's going to cost them more money to walk into Home Depot or any other store across the country and purchase one of these, not being able to purchase a gas-powered leaf blower that's less expensive. It's going to cost them more in the third highest tax state to begin with, and the second highest electric rates, third highest property taxes. And even more so than that, it's going to cost your small business owner. I know many, many individuals throughout my district that either have full-time landscaping businesses, that is their sole income earning for their family, who are going to have to buy a lot more expensive equipment with this ban in place. And then there's even some individuals that do it on the side to allow their family to have a little bit more money in the pocket, whether it be to spend for vacations, to spend for home improvements, all the things that come upon us in life that cost a little bit more. And I really am reluctant to support anything in this climate with affordability being so high in this state that would lead to something that's going to cost our constituents more, cost our small businesses more. And for that reason, I will be opposing this measure, and I urge my colleagues to do the same. Thank you.
Thank you. Will you remark further on the bill? Senator Kushner.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise